Hello guys, welcome to another YouTube tutorial. My name is Lawrence and Luke. So in this video we're going to be creating a paginated table. We'll consume data from an endpoint and display the data in a table as shown here on the screen. We're going to also track the serial number, not now the ID from the database, the serial number itself from the data we're giving, and also whether or not you're using your passing offsets from your backend. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to handle that on the front end. I'll also be able to track the states, of the pagination. Are we on 5? Are we on 6? Okay, or we're returning back to 1. So let's dive right into it and begin. Alright, the first thing I want to do is to open a folder, a React project in a favorite editor I'm using a term for this tutorial. So go ahead and use whichever one you feel comfortable with. So next, since I'm going to use Bootstrap for this project, I've already linked the dependency here. Here, this is the Bootstrap CSS, and this is the one for the JavaScript main.js. Although we might not really need the main.js, we just need this one here. So go ahead and link that. And to show that the Bootstrap is working, what we're going to do, let me add text in a success here. And just save it and go to a browser to check, and we'll see that here this is the default React a new project landing page. This is what you see when you create a new React app. So we're going to modify this and get right into a project. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since I'm using class components, I'm going to get rid of all this here like this. So I'm going to say class app extends component. It's just shortcut here. So we can have this here. So I'm not going to need this logo. We're going to take that out. So I'm going to have this, alright? So we're good to go here. So, alright, so we see nothing. So I'm going to use this fake data from this JSON placeholder website. This is what I'm going to be using exactly, and what I'm going to be using. So here. So the first thing we'll do is to make a request to this endpoint, and see what we're getting. So we're going to do that. So let's create a function here first. Let's call the function get post. This is an arrow function here. So the first thing I want to do here is to use fetch. Although most people might prefer to use Axios, but for this tutorial, I'm going to use fetch to get the data. So I'm going to say const here, object is equals method. I'm going to set the method to get, because it's a get request. Here I'm going to pass headers. Although the headers are passing, we don't really need any authentication or token, so to speak, for this tutorial. There are most times you might need token, especially when you're working on real-time projects. Okay, so it's just to add the authorization there. You could see that in the fetch documentation. So what I need here, or what I'm going to use here, is just accept. So this will be application / JSON. I'll have a comma here, and then the content type will still be application / JSON. So here we'll have application / JSON. Alright. So I want to use a sync await here, a synthetic sugar. Well, I'm going to use it anyway. Alright, so we have this here. So let's say await fetch. Let me declare this URL here. So like copy that, I did copy that. Alright, so here also fetch, and we use step with literal here. Although it is an overkill anyway, we're not really passing any parameters to it, but I'm just going to use it like that here, and then I'm going to pass the objects, just pass object. Instead of then get let's call this response. So response to JSON, but then here, so let's call this response JSON. Alright, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna console this result to see what we're getting. Since we want this to load when the page loads, we're going to use a lifecycle method called component did mount. So we're going to say component did mount. We call this the get post. Okay. So let's go to our browser and see the result of that. We have an error here. Oh, method, this isn't supposed to be equal signs. Yes. Alright, so let's go to the console. Okay, we have our results, about 200 of them. Alright, so what we want to do is to display these results in a table. Okay, so accomplish the first step. But we want to set error boundaries for these. There are most times network problems, so we want to catch error in case there is one. So here we're going to say catch. Okay, let's do it this way. Error. One. Just cancel the error. All right. So next, we are going to just declare our table. Let's look at the data first and see the fields that we need. So we need user ID. We won't really need the ID here because what I want to do is to like get the ID dynamically. So we want to use the serial number, dynamically, on the front end. We'll see how to do that. So the data we're going to be getting is just user ID title and then the completed. So we're going to create headings for that. So let's come here. Let's give this class name of container. So next, let's have table here. Table. So we're gonna have table head. Let's have tr here for table row. Okay. So let's show what we need there for the table. So we're gonna have th here. So set user ID, th title. Just gonna duplicate this, and then we'll have completed our status. Let's call it completed. Okay, so we should be good. So let's come to, alright, so we have this. So we're just going to put a bit of Bootstrap styling to that. What we want to do, let's give it a class name of the table. Align hyphen items, send these, justify, content, center margin bottom 0. Okay, so it should be good. Okay. All right. So we want to get the data next, and then put them in the body of the table. So we're going to create a function for that. Um, let's call the function. Let's call it show data. You could just call it whatever it is you want to call it here. Okay, so before we do that, instead of just consoling the response here, we want to add it to a state variable so that as it loads, is stored in that variable, and then we're able to like map through that variable, which would be an array, and then get the results. So we're going to use a constructor here. Constructor, let's give this props super props. Let's call these the states because let's call it data. It's going to be an array. All right. So here, instead of just doing this here, we're just going to set state. This that set state. Let's call this data. Let's call it response JSON. And look at. Okay. So next here, we're going to map through that data and then show them on a table. Okay. All right. So what we want to do here, let's have return. Come on now, return here. This that states the data. The map. Let's have item. So we're gonna have return as well. Let's have t body here. Let's call this t body. So let's have tr here for the table row, and then let's have our table data td. So for the table data, let's look at what we have once again: user ID, title, and completed. Okay. So here we want to have item but user ID. I want to have item the title. Just going to duplicate this and we're going to have item completed. Save this. Then we'll call it here. Just after the headings. This the narrative. Okay, show data. Show data. Okay, we have our completed not showing. We need to convert it to string. I think that's the reason. So to string here, and hopefully it should work out. Okay, so we have our data now, and you can see it just goes on and on and on. So what we want to do, first off, let's add the index here. So here we'll have item, have index here. So here I want to have td index +1. So let's have this as a serial number. Let's call this SN. Alright, so we have it here. It's been numbered serially. Okay, so what we want to do next is to add the pagination logic to this here. So we're going to go to this our show data here. Meanwhile, I want to wrap this in a try catch, just to be safe in case there's a problem, with not getting the data. So I'm going to say try here. Here I'm going to say catch. I'll just catch some alerts, even message. Okay, so I don't really get an error though, anyway. everything works fine. Okay, so let's declare some um, state variables here. First, let's have posts per page. So let's say posts per page here. Let's call it 10 because we want to render just 10. Let's have current page. Let's set this to 1. Okay, so we'll get back to this our function here to show data. What we want to do there, okay, what we want to do here is let's define a variable. Or let's set this to underscore post per page. So I'm just instead of using this.state, because this.state post per page. We're gonna use a current page. We're still gonna use data as well. Okay, so next let's define a variable. Let's call that variable index of last page. So we want to have a current page times post per page. So let's have another variable. Let's call it index of first page. I want to have an index of last page minus posts per page. Okay, so I want to get current posts. So say let's call this current posts. So I'm gonna say data, which is storing a response. The slice. So here, I'm gonna put index index of first page. Index of first. Okay, let's call index of first page. So index of last page. Okay, so now instead of saying this is a state.map, we want to see current posts .map. So here, see that for current posts. Let's see. Okay, so we get 10 now. All right. Okay. So just say it says 10 and let's close this. Okay, so it's 10. All right, so we'll move on. So we'll add pagination for that. Let's see. Let's create well, I'm going to create a function for that as well. So well, let me just take down here. Let's call it show pagination. Another function. Let me set this to state as well. Let's call this post per page. I'll be using data as well. Is state. I guess I'm going to declare a variable as an array, so I'm going to call it page numbers. Page numbers. It's going to be an array. I'm going to have a variable called toToolPosts. Come on now. Let's have data.length. I get the length of the data. I'm going to loop through that here. So let's say for I is equal to 1. I is less than or equals to math.cell So here I want to have total posts, all the posts per page. So here I want to increment this. I'm going to push that into the array. So I'm going to say page numbers, the push. Okay. So what I want to do next is to show the UI for that. So I'm going to return the UI for the pagination. Let me use nav here. Now, so let's have UL. We have class name z1s calls and pagination. Okay, so let's close this. So here I'm going to map through that. I'm going to say, let's say page numbers, the map, and send number. Let's call this number. So here I'm going to pass just pass this key as a number. I'll just give this class name. It's called a page item. So here I want to have a button. Most people use an A tag, but here I want to use a button. I'll call this number, class number here. Alright, so I'm going to give this class name of page link. Okay. So I'm going to call that pagination down below. Here. Let's put inside the div. Is the show pagination. And have an error. Let's go somewhere. This is a problem. Okay. Alright, so let's see what we got. What I want to do, I'm going to float these to the left. Let's see. Style, inline style. So float to the right rather. Okay, so nothing really works as you can see, so we need to handle that there. So let's create a function that will handle the pagination. Okay, let's go to show pagination here. Inside here, I'm just going to create a function inside here since I'm using it inside here. So I'm going to say const, let's call this paginate. You call it whatever it is you want to call it. Pass this here. We're going to pass page numbers. I want to set states. This is the set state. The current page. I'm set it to the page numbers here. So that I'm going to add an on-click function here, so that when that button is clicked, it's going to call that function, which is the paginate. So I'm going to say pagination. I'm going to pass number here. Okay. Pagination is not defined. This is pagination, so let's be pagination. Pagination. Okay. Okay. You can see it's changing. But now notice our serial number is not changing, so we need to handle that. And also we need to know the active state, like where we are on the pagination. Are we on 6 or are we on 7? Okay, so there is no indication. I think we should do one first, then we'll handle the serial number. That will be it. Let's go to where? All right, let's come here. So let's get rid of this here. So let me just give ternary condition there. If this state rather, current page is equal to number, it's called page item, else page item active here. So then it is the active page, else response page item. Then this is not active. So that will be the difference between them. Okay, so this should work out. Okay, so here when 2, when 3, when 4, when 5, when 6. Okay, so let's handle the serial number issue. Not really an issue, but it's a bit of logic to work it out. Now notice here, where is that now? Here, instead of just calling the index, +1, and just incrementing it, we are going to have to make it change, with of course with the page change as well. So what I'm going to do there, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm still going to need it anyway, but I'm just going to just rewire the logic. Where is that? Okay, here. So here, instead of doing this alone, I am going to say, let's call this post page times, let's say current page -1. Add it to the index and just increment it. Index +1. So hopefully this should work out. Let's see. Okay, you can see. All right, so this is it for this tutorial. It's really long. You could also do a loading feature. I'm not going to cover that here. You can use a spinner or something for that. Hopefully you should be able to do that a bit there. So I'm just going to stop this here. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel to get more awesome contents like this.